It is November. It's the New World Championship. Some people are calling this the off-season, but not Ace Run Productions. They're still bringing you high-quality coverage of this DGPT Silver event. We are here in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm Andrew Fish, joined by Aaron Doyle.
How you doing, Fish?
I'm great. I'm excited to watch our MPO chase card here on the front nine of round two. Had a really solid card yesterday. Got a couple returners. Connor O'Reilly and Garrett Gurthie are going to be back. And they're joined by Martin Kneece and Kevin Kiefer.
Yeah, Kevin, Florida boy. I'm always glad to be back in Florida.
Yeah, I'm sure. And Garrett Gurthie, kind of the favorite son of Northeast Florida. You see a pretty tight leaderboard up there. The lead card sitting at 9 and a slew of 8s. Martin also at 8.
Yep, from Jackson, South Carolina. I've known him since I was a teenager. Solid, getting up there.
Yeah, Garrett Gurthie from Hawthorne, just down the road in Gainesville. Garrett, a lot of experience at this course.
Then we got Kevin Kiefer, Florida boy, 10-13 rated. He's a crusher out there.
Yeah, I played with him round one, and he was really shredding, including a throw-in on 18 for his birdie.
Connor O'Reilly, 10-20 rated out of Austin, Texas.
We saw him in round one. It's all confidence for Connor. We'll see what he can do.
Absolutely. As we get into it, hole 1, par 3, 416 feet. Thank you, Flight Factory, for this beautiful drone footage. Overstable distance driver.
Yeah.
The miss is right. Gotta miss the middle tree. Tried to avoid the OB short, and hopefully you don't skip left into the woods.
Yeah, and a narrative we saw yesterday was a pretty strong wind. Today it's about the same direction, same swirliness, just a little less intensity.
Yeah, have you seen many shots go into the left woods?
From Beach Island, South
Up near the
Carolina.
basket, I saw Kevin do it. He kind of says, I'm going to throw it into the left side and make the putt. But more often it's like players don't hang it quite wide enough.
Go Martin Kneece. He's got the shades on. It's his focus look.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Flat release, pushing up the middle. That'll clear the out of bounds, but it's going to track into the woods on the left side for a circle 2. Hard to say what kind of look he's going to have out of there.
From Gainesville, Florida, Garrett Gurthie.
Expected another low line drive out Garrett today.
Wind prevailing a little bit left to right here. And you're right, he's able to throw this with his power almost flat.
Great shot by Garrett. With as slow as the skip was, I think that was a fairway.
Yeah, maybe a Thunderbird, perhaps a Firebird.
Kevin Kiefer.
I believe this is a stiletto out of Kevin, so he's really going to have to play Anheuser release.
Kevin's really good at those low line bombers as well.
I think a lot of that, very nice, he's going to run to circle's edge left. I think a lot of that is a function of where you grow up playing. Like Kevin kind of played in the Clearwater area as a kid.
Yeah, because a lot of Florida golf, you see with Calvin Heimberg, a lot of low beamers with fairways.
Right. Low ceiling shots, keep it out of the wind. And Connor low, a little bit inside. If this gets a counter skip, he's in good shape. But he's going to track over towards where Martin and Kevin ran.
We got 4 putts.
And unable to connect on the step putt for Connor.
Yeah, Martin's got a little trouble right here, but he has a swing.
I'm told he's a fantastic putter.
He was telling me yesterday he wasn't putting very well.
Really?
Yeah. As he makes a nice birdie putt on hole 1.
Sure. What are your standards for not putting well if that's your make? And nicely done, very centered from Kevin.
He's got 2 birdies. Connor about 23 feet. Good cleanup by Connor. As Garrett's walking to his park job.
Three birdies, a solid start for our chase card here. That's more or less keeping pace with the field. Hole 1 is kind of middle of the pack because there's not that much danger as long as you can hang it out to the right.
Yeah, as long as you miss that middle tree. You should be all right taking a par. No harm, no foul with that one. As we get to hole 2, par 4, 606 feet. Get it out the gap. I don't think I've seen somebody miss the gap yet on my cards this week, but as you make it through the gap, you have the double Mando. You just want to make sure you leave yourself a good look to get through the Mando.
You're looking fairway driver or mid-range off the tee?
Fairway driver.
Okay.
Fairway driver. Something slow.
And then a pretty open green up here.
Yeah, there's no real trouble near the basket. The road's about 80 feet behind it.
Sure. Martin gonna leak a little bit high and left. That's gonna kill the speed and leave him well back at the Mandos. He'll have to go up to a fairway driver to punch all the distance that he needs.
Yeah, that's a tough look back there the further away you are from the Mando.
Mm-hmm. Garrett also gonna leak left. He's able to get his disc to flatten a little bit, but that his angle severely cut off because he did make all the distance. What kind of options does that leave him from there?
Definitely going to have to throw a high overstable fairway driver, probably a Firebird for him.
Okay.
Kiefer's also leaking left a little bit. If you're that far left and a little further back, it makes the shot a little easier to make the Mando. But I know these guys are wanting to get the birdie on this hole.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looks like a mid-range for Connor.
Also with the hyzer release, we're going to have a lot of kind of skinny hyzers. Or I guess there's options for flex shots or a flex forehand if you're so inclined. Martin with the best angle, just a long ways back.
Just from experience, this is a very intimidating shot. Oh, hits the Mando. Did he make that?
It seemed like it. It seemed like it was kind of a forward kick more than purely sideways. I think one difficulty from this tee shot is that you're kind of secluded in the woods. You may not be able to get a read on the crosswind. So perhaps these three players who have run out to the left were anticipating a little bit of a different wind reaction. Garrett does go with that skip shot, but because he landed it so early, it can't really get to the basket. It runs to 40 feet left.
See Kevin here. He's a little pinched off, but
He's going to go felon. We'll see if he goes mostly air or if he tries to follow Garrett's skip. Go in.
great shot by Kevin. That's how you do it. Thanks. His angle was a little better than I thought it would be from there.
Yeah. Perhaps going mid-range kept him from going too far.
Martin getting up and down.
What kind of bag is he throwing? Do you know?
I don't know what he's throwing, actually. Garrett, he was making these yesterday.
Yeah, you see that the moss indicating a crosswind. As soon as Garrett exposes that flight plate, the putter is kind of on its own. Connor a more direct, spinny hyzer.
To get his round going. High left.
That same kind of wind lift. And that'll leave Kevin as the only birdie on the card.
When you're putting fish, do you like to see, get a win read off of your competitor? And then
I think I'm less concerned about them and more about what I can get with a wind check right before.
Right, because like with the different putting styles, some people may putt different, so the disc may react
Right, and
a lot differently.
You're from Jacksonville. You've probably seen this quite a bit, that the direction, the intensity, all of that can change instantly.
Right.
We're close enough to the ocean that you get some big weather patterns that just shift it.
Yeah, this Florida wind gets super swirly. All right, Kevin with the only birdie on the card. Here we are, hole 3, par 3, 304 feet. This one plays 0.5 under par. Wouldn't you say it's the easiest hole on the course?
Yeah, it's by far the easiest.
You'll see people throwing a hyzer flip, mid-range shot, or a low skip fairway to the right side. These guys, they shouldn't have problem getting inside the circle, but it's a little breezy, so we'll see if they can connect on the birdie.
Flex forehand also seems to have been a popular option to access the green.
I've been saying that. It is a little more open on that left side. Avoid most of the trees.
Kevin would describe himself as a hyzer guy. He's going to go back to that felon. This seems like a good width, perhaps pushing a touch long? No, just pin high. Martin looks like a mid-range, low release, uses the ceiling though.
Looks like it's a good shot. Very nice by Martin. It's a very technical shot, the low ceiling with that mid-range.
Yeah, you definitely don't have the full height you'd like to manipulate the disc. Garrett's going to play hyzer, inside and low.
Got a little tricky putt. That tree can be... It can be there.
And Connor also with the low, straight mid-range.
Slides up the circle's edge.
Garrett seems like he's got a couple bad options for stances here. Wow.
Nice putt.
I like that you can see that kind of go out of frame.
Let's run it back. He took his time getting his stance, found his swing, and when you're trying to find that right stance, it gives you a little more focus. And I see more often than none, putts will go in.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, sometimes having things around your knees or around your swing can be really distracting. Other times, it's like, there's a window. If I hit that window, it's gold.
We see 3 birdies so far.
Yeah,
you could get the star frame here.
Got to imagine he will. He's by far the closest on the card. Whoa.
Ooh.
Interesting reaction there. Seemed like he kind of just lofted it in. Sometimes those right sides don't catch. The chains will just kick it out if it's lofty.
So we have 3 birdies out 4. Hole 4, par 3, 354 feet. New tee pad for this year. Just get it out of the gap. There's a low ceiling near the baskets on a mound. And as you're coming up here, you'll be able to see these paintball fields that's behind the basket across the road. The New World Disc Golf Complex out here has other activities other than just disc golf and ball golf. Come out and get some games of paintball in.
Yeah, and that disc golf is pretty expansive. We're seeing just one of the courses here. There's also a blue and a white course, and then a green course a little bit off-site.
The red and blue white course, they're pretty much like this, fairly open, lengthy. And the green course has a bunch of sand dunes everywhere with more elevation. Mm-hmm. It's a very, very fun track.
Yeah, they're trying to make this a destination, as Sniper got Garrett's disc in the air. Connor back to that same mid-range he's been throwing. Nice high flight, drifting to the right. But that low ceiling on the live oak gets him, huh?
Yeah, that's the thing about throwing a mid-range. It's like you need to get the height. And that's why I like the fairway play. You get a little lower. I think that's kind of what Martin's doing right here. Mm-hmm. Actually, that might be a mid-range too.
Gets him up to circle's edge, perhaps. Holes 2, 3, and 4 are playing across the same field and cart path. Do you feel like it's useful to get a wind read on 2 and 3 in order to play hole 4?
Originally, yes, but this weekend specifically, the wind's swirling a good bit, so it's really tough to get a good read on it. Mm-hmm. Good, decent bid there by Connor. Think about running elevated baskets, you could go way past the basket.
Yeah, I've seen it happen a couple times on this one in particular.
Kevin looks like he's got some trees in the way.
Honorable bid. He was able to pump that hyzer release despite the tree on his right side. And both of them coming up a little short. That may be the effect of the elevated basket and not risking going past at full speed.
Yeah, when they putted, the wind was probably very subtle, and as you see Garrett stepping up here, it's getting a little gusty as he puts it in for par. Good putt by Garrett. Yeah. Tell you, those 20-footers on this hole with the wind can be sneaky.
Looks like we're going to have a big old party here.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. A little bit frustrating, but understanding. I think among the early holes, 4 is one of the harder to keep straight and get all the way to the basket.
You know, the first 5 holes or so, it's like that's where you want to get your birdies. But I think 4 is 1 or 4. Those are the more challenging ones out of the bunch.
Sure. That'll bring us on to hole 5.
Yeah, hole 5, par 3, 380 feet. Just like hole 1, got a overstable distance driver, ante it out, skip. So you're coming up on this tree, it's right in the middle. If you get a skip behind that tree, you know your shot's gonna be inside the circle. Mm-hmm. It also requires a decent amount of pace on it too, because you don't want to rip it, but you want to make sure you miss right.
Yeah, at 380, you definitely need to put a pretty good pump on this. Distance driver has the potential to run maybe too far to the right, but like 9 speed seems to be the sweet spot where a lot of players are going. Kevin plays a good drift. I think he's throwing an Explorer.
I really like that hyzer flip up play. It was very smooth.
Garrett with a good push through the gap. Not quite getting the drift, so that'll end up left side, somewhere in circle 2.
Very similar shot to round 1 for Garrett.
Connor, I like this a lot. It's also going to run to the left side late. Oh,
Good shot.
not with a good little root bounce. That is going to almost park him for the birdie.
Looked like a fairway.
Mm-hmm. Martin, flat release to now turning over. And that'll run him to circle's edge. I love that Garrett goes to the Sonic. Like, disc golf is more interesting. Wow,
Nice putt
nicely
by
done by Martin. Disc golf is more interesting when players have something like a little weird or different about their game. And going to the Sonic type disc is unusual on the pro scene.
And for him, when he puts it in his hand, he's just like, I know I can draw metal. I know I can draw metal. So nice confidence for him.
So 3 birdies, a very solid showing for our card. Everyone's off to a good start. You know, they've each racked up a couple of birdies in these first 5. No big numbers to speak of, and that's critical going into this stretch. 6 and 8 are 6, 7, and 8 are 3 of the 5 toughest holes on the track.
They're doozies, to say the least. Yeah, these guys have the start they want, especially with the tough holes coming up.
Couple 10s, couple 8s. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back.
It was important for me to partner with a retailer that could help with growing my brand and making my products available all over the country and across the world. Flight Factory has helped me accomplish that. Check out all of my gear and thousands of other discs at Flight Factory.
We're back to hole 6, par 5, 1,100 feet. Thank you, Flight Factory, for this drone footage right here. This one's a doozy fish. This one's playing as the hardest hole of the day. The tee shot, you'll see low line sidearms to get up the fairway, or you see turnover backhands with maybe a mid-range. Lots of danger, cart path on the left side. I'm expecting half sidearm, 2 sidearm, 2 backhand off the tee on this one for these guys.
Kevin pushes it deep, but plenty of stability.
You guys see those trees a little deeper. If you get past those, that's where the cart path will come into play.
Right. Connor didn't quite get this over enough yesterday. He definitely commits to the Anheuser today and doesn't push super far, but he's made it around the corner enough.
I think he'll take that one over yesterday.
I think a lot of this hole is about breaking it up into manageable parts. Like you kind of just have to get your first shot in play and then decide how aggressive you want to be on your second. Like, is there a zone where you decide that you're going to be really aggressive on the second?
So on the second shot, I feel like on the second shot, it's not really more aggressive. Once these guys get to their lie, there's going to be a tree on the right side. It's a good aiming point, because if you fade before that, you know you'll have enough room from the green to the cart path.
Sure.
Where Martin right there is throwing it to. I feel like that's a great aiming point, especially with a little more stable disc.
Yeah, but he's going to be almost 500 feet back, which makes the clearing the creek a little bit of a challenging proposition on his third.
A good rule of thumb on this hole, if you're before those trees, that aiming point, just lay up, because it's a very risky shot. But if you're before that, or if you're after that, leaves it a little closer.
There's no layup involved in this. This is Garrett going outside roller, and he's laid it down with a lot of cut. It's holding and drifting right. And wow. That's a 600 plus foot roller.
As perfect as that was, it shouldn't, like, in its OB, like, it's insane. Like,
nothing he can really do except congratulate himself on throwing it too well. But now he's going to be 225 away, looking straight at the basket. Chance to get up and down for par.
Yeah, he has a wide open look. Kevin getting a little risky with that anti-flex.
This is one of the places where subtle elevation on the course makes a difference. Like, you can't quite see your landing zone as the out of bounds starts to pinch in.
Right. As you see Martin here, he laid up. He was before that tree, so I want no part of that.
Connor, this is in the neighborhood of 425 to the bucket.
Even though this shot's not particularly far, the footing is really tricky because, like you were talking about, the elevation.
Mm-hmm. And everything here is sand-based. Nicely done to get it over. We'll have an outside look at birdie. Kevin throwing 4 after the OB stroke. He's very good at manipulating his angles, especially with mid-ranges and putters. Martin with the Anheuser. Everyone making sure to get it to the right side. There is a little bit of out of bounds to the left. Right side is all good.
Yeah, in previous years it was a little tighter to the basket.
Mm-hmm.
And for this tournament they decided to open it up a little more, make the green more attackable.
Yeah, and I think it's very fair right now. If you throw a shot inside circle 2, you're safe. Garrett with the Sonic. He'll have a manageable look for his 5. And I'm told they weren't able to get the disc back during the round, which is a shame. That's one of his primary roller discs. But one of the volunteers got their feet wet and got the disc back for Garrett after the round.
I didn't know you couldn't get your disc out of there because it's really not that deep.
It's not deep. They just couldn't find it. I think it was kind of obscured by the dark water.
Got you.
Martin with a nice putt to save his 5. Did a good job just breaking the hole up into parts. Connor for his 5. And that's rough. That's kind of the price you pay for running the long putt for 4. Basket slightly elevated here on a tee box.
Yeah, if you land to the right side like Kiefer and Martin did. I'm sorry, just Kiefer. See how it's more flat right there?
Woo!
Ooh.
Nice little mistake make.
You just reminded me, Fish. I had to get my Leopard 3 out of the water on hole 6.
I think that right there, that's a little voyeuristic for how to think of Kevin. He's like a golden retriever where everything is exciting and interesting to him. He's a great person to have on the card because he's willing to talk, he's polite, he's also super interested in what everyone else is doing.
Right, yeah, he's a solid dude. A lot of enthusiasm and great player as well.
Yeah.
So we have 2 -10s, a -8 and a -7. Hole 7, par 3, 467 feet. You throw over the golf green. The golf green's OB, but these guys shouldn't have a problem with that. As you're coming up the fairway, you'll see a Mando to your right. You have to stay left. And roller's very popular play to get close to the basket. You'll see people maybe throw fairway driver turnovers, but I think the roller's the best way to get up there.
Yeah, a couple forehands too from what I've seen on my cards. This isn't the hardest hole because the out of bounds and the Mando aren't that demanding. As Kevin drifting a little too far right. And that's actually going to be a Mando miss. Kevin making a liar out of me.
Sometimes that wind just pushes it.
Yep.
It looks a little high.
Martin nose up forehand. Able to penetrate into the tunnel though.
Got the green flag.
Garrett just goes with a fairway. I wonder if he would have gone roller if he had that Wraith still.
I don't know. I saw the way his disc was getting blown in the wind. I think they have a tough wind on this hole.
Yeah, it was kind of a left to right. Connor in between roller and throw. Kind of the same action as yesterday. He'll end up on the left side. Kevin from the drop zone.
solid shot.
Yeah, that's minimizing the damage.
Yeah, that drop zone shot's fairly open. Most of these guys have no problem with that putter up shot.
Yeah, I think your idea here is just test those maples, the white trees on the left side of the basket. They're no more than 15 or 20. And Garrett told me after the round that forehand hurt. He had kind of tweaked his shoulder a little bit. Throwing a roller in round 1, and that forehand was a little uncomfortable for him.
You kind of tell the way it came nose up.
Yeah. And then his telling Connor about it a little bit after. And Martin also going to have to settle for a bogey. Only 4 birdies on this in round 2. Isaac Robinson, Paul Macbeth, James Beckner.
And Kevin O'Donnell?
Yeah, Kevin O'Donnell, that's right.
Jacksonville boy Kevin, let's go.
I think you just have to treat this as a bonus hole. It's separating 3 and 4 more than 2 and 3.
Oh, absolutely. See, with that wind coming off the green, it makes it tough, especially to lay down a roller. Hole 8, par 4, 844 feet. This hole is extremely tough. Tee shot, extremely demanding. You just have to stay left of the cart path. The drone footage flying over the OB, which beautiful golf hole. But yeah, once you get up to the basket, it is a peninsula, but the left cart path that fades off to the left, that's all inbounds.
And everything to the right is still out of bounds?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Couple options. You can throw the right side hyzer, but it's kind of difficult to get the disc back in bounds. Garrett able to overpower something. The challenge for as inside as he threw this is to keep it out of the left side woods.
Yeah, if you hit the grass on the right side of the cart path, it's very Velcro-y. It can definitely stick.
Other option would be to kind of go up the middle, try to attack the palm tree. Couple safe shots so far. Those are going to be, well, Garrett might have a chance with his power. Connor, I think, is going to be a little too far back to try to attack for 3.
You guys are getting good angles on the disc. Just keep it in bounds. Not trying to get too crazy.
Nicely done by Martin. Got some good wind reads. Followed him perfectly.
Yeah, I had to change up my shot with the wind on hole 8, so I went up the middle for the first time in like 2 months.
Is that right? Okay.
Kept it in bounds.
That's what it's all about. If you go straight and don't come back in, you're only advancing 100, 120 feet.
Exactly.
And at 844, like, that completely takes par out of the equation. It's bogey at best.
It's a pretty lengthy par 4.
Martin's definitely playing for 4. If you don't get this disc over for a little bit and hanging over the out of bounds, there's really no opportunity for it.
You'll see it's a theme on this course. There's shots where the cart paths to the right and you could get super aggressive like Connor's doing right here and accidentally pull one over OB.
Oh man,
it stays in.
What a reaction.
I felt like it could have skipped off the cart path, right?
Yeah, it kind of just like dead skipped for him. Garrett not trusting it out quite as much. He's going to play to the left side and looks like a circle 2 look for him. Martin with the approach. Get yourself to the base, get a 15-footer, and live to fight another day. From certain spots, this hole isn't worth attacking at all.
Yeah, from here, if these guys end up running it, they could potentially go be long.
With Garrett's lofty putt, Not huge risk of that.
He was walking it down.
Yeah.
He liked it. Rightfully so. Dead center band.
Oh boy. So yesterday we introduced this hole by saying it was really hard. And then our feature card went 4 for 4 for birdie on it. Today, no birdies in the entire field.
And that's kind of a shocker because there was a tailwind on this hole
Yeah.
during the day.
Possibly a crosswind making it difficult to keep the disc inbounds, not able
That's
to go
true.
for as much. But anyway, disc golf's like that sometimes. Some days the holes play really easy, sometimes less so.
Disc golf's fun. This is fine. This is fine.
The Felon is a staple in the bag. Just a good overstable fairway control driver. It's got all the flight characteristics I want for a super overstable fairway driver. Both sidearm and backhand.
I use it from, 300 to 350 feet. I love it.
I've had some messages of people asking like, "Hey, are you still trying to be the pro? Are you, or what is your goal for the next couple of years? Like, when are you going to win again?" Basically, that question. So, yeah, tapping that win in just felt like, there you go, to like all the friends and fans and everyone who supported me throughout the last couple of years.
Hole 9, par 5, 1,008 feet. Thank you, DGN, for this beautiful drone footage. See the highway in the background. Tee shot, straightforward. Throw it really far straight. Cart path all along the right side's OB. I don't see many of these guys taking anything worse than a par, unless something absolutely crazy happens.
Yeah, all of the danger's pretty avoidable here. And this is one of the holes where you can see the blue and white courses on the property come into, not into play, but they're also very visible here. Latitude 64 has now sponsored this entire complex. Thank you for their support. Brand new baskets on this course that we're playing.
Yes, the new baskets, it's a very nice touch. Something different, something new, and I'm loving it.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing about this course, as you see Connor ripping it out there, it gives you the option. You can play the front 9 red and then play in from the back 9 white.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
Or vice versa with blue to red.
Mm-hmm. Round 1, when I played with Kevin, he kind of overturned this shot, risked the out of bounds a little bit on the right, ended up staying safe, but today overcorrects, and he's going to be well back from the basket after 1. Martin committing to the Anheuser a little bit.
It's going a little left as well.
They're,
I think they should be fine over there. It's an open hole. They have plenty of distance. Just gotta make sure you keep it left.
yeah, it just makes the potentially the third shot more like 250 instead of 150.
Right.
Or perhaps,
350.
yeah, perhaps in the 300, 350 range for Kevin. This is a little scary as Martin's drifting to the right. He needs to get in front of that set of trees. Nice little cart path skip. And to the pinch point. Connor's going to follow that. A little bit more pure hyzer. Again, kind of scary though.
Just barely squeaking it in bounds. But he'll take it.
Yeah, you'd think he would have learned from hole 8. And Garrett, despite his power and his aggression, he told me that one of his solutions to success out here is taking birdies when they come, not trying to play for anything too aggressive.
Yeah, once you start forcing the issue, that's when you start taking big numbers out here.
Definitely.
Great shot by Kevin, working the angle.
Yeah, really nicely done. Like I said, kind of manipulating those angles with his putters and mids. Connor with a moon ball. I think that's a harp, just too much stability to hold after going straight up in the air.
Great shot by Martin. Little tap in birdie.
And a lot left on that one from Garrett. This one's a little deceiving because the basket's on a mound. It's a little bit hard to park.
And on top of that, you have the golf tee box too in the way, so you have to throw it up a little higher than usual.
Right.
See Connor chains out to the right.
This would be pretty big for Garrett. He's kept a clean sheet. You want to get your scoring on the front nine.
Solid putt, dead
Yeah.
center.
Good putt, Garrett.
And sometimes he'll throw a little flutter putt. That time it seemed to come out totally clean. Good spin on it.
Kevin getting the birdie. Even though Kevin and Martin, they were, far left off the tee, it's like looks like they're picking up their birdies.
Yeah, their third shots were very key. And Connor in for his par. So as we wrap up, let's take a look at the leaderboard. We know the lead card was pretty stacked up with what these guys were.
Yeah.
Ranging from 9 down to 6 in that 8th place spot. We know Paul Macbeth got off to a pretty decent start. Isaac Robinson still moving well, and his brother Ezra at 12. Kevin and Martin, look at them, tied for 4th right now, and Garrett also doing pretty good. A lot of folks still in contention here. We're halfway home at the New World Championship, the second event of the 2023 DGPT wraparound season. Thank you so much for supporting Ace Run's coverage. Make sure you subscribe, go buy some disc, go help them continue to produce great off-season content like this. Aaron, that's a you?
Hey, getting a little camera love, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much for following. For Aaron Doyle, I'm Andrew Fish.